Back, everybody, to the 7th episode of the Rebound. 3rd episode, guest episode in a row with Scott. He's back.
I'm back.
Who's the third? What guard should you guys small forwards?
Right, okay.
All right, we're starting up small forwards, number 10. I got Gordon Hayward,
Interesting.
another Hornet at 10.
Oh my god.
I feel like Gordon Hayward, he's always that guy you can count on for the Hornets. He's been there all his life. Get a bucket, get some rebounds,
Got a broken
pass the
leg.
ball,
Yeah.
an average defender, and he played more games than when he broke his leg. So that's always a good thing for Gordon Hayward. And I feel like when he's on the court, he's never a negative. No matter if he's not hitting his shots, he's always been a leader for that team and any team he's been on. That's why I had Gordon Hayward at my 10.
All right. I started off my list with 10 at Scottie Pippen. Not Scottie Pippen. Whoa.
Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. I started off with Scotty Barnes. I think that he can definitely be a top 5 power forward, small forward in his career. I think Rookie of the Year he definitely deserved it. Let's see, he averaged 15, 7, and 3. And on a good Raptors team where you have plenty of other scoring options, I think that's really impressive.
I had to start off my small forwards with Sadiq Bey.
Shout out Norm.
Yeah, we had to show him some love. He really stepped up, especially second half of the year. So I think he just deserved it, and he was a big part of those 14 wins in Detroit. So I think he deserved a top 10 position.
All right,
So-
all right, I respect that.
He's a big part of this.
I'll start off number 9. Although we cannot condone for his actions, we can still appreciate his greatness. Miles Bridges at number 9. I think that Brennan previously has mentioned that the Hornets are horrible when LaMelo doesn't play, and then he went on to advocate for Terry Rozier, so I can't back that, but I can kind of back Miles Bridges.
He had an all-star claim for a bit.
He had an
Yeah, he
all-star
did.
claim.
Yeah.
Forgetting everything that happened after that, I think that
we remember it.
definitely can't. Yep,
Don't
we
condone
definitely
it.
can't. Yep, overlook what he did in the season, which was what was that?
Yeah,
what
like
he-
It was like 20 and 8.
Yeah,
something like
so I think
And
that
he's a really good defender.
especially since he was a
Was.
candidate for the most improved player,
Should have got him.
I think he
that. It's
yeah.
a great lob threat too.
All right, 8
So somebody mentioned.
or 9. Something.
All right.
For 9, I had Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes, okay.
I just thought he was a really solid rookie. Coming out of something like that, something like a rookie season like that, Rookie of the Year. I think he deserves a top 10 spot, especially for what he did defensively for the Raptors.
I had a different Bridges. I had Mikal Bridges on the Suns. He's an elite defender. He made an all-defensive team, right?
Yeah.
He's become a really good shooter. His offensive game is growing. He's like a Swiss Army knife for the Suns. Like sometimes if Chris Paul is just taking a back seat, Mikal hits those shots when they need it. He guards that player when they need it. He tried guarding Luka. I mean, we saw that worked out, but he's still a really good defender. Everybody knows this who watches
Right.
basketball. So 7?
For my 8, I had Mikal Bridges.
I also had McCall for 8.
So
I think that he
just,
was definitely the best defender on this list. Maybe besides Jimmy Butler,
Well,
maybe
he
Chris
was-
Middleton. But I
he
think
was
the
he
best
was
defender.
in debate for
D-boy, yeah.
D-boy,
I
yeah.
think he was top 3.
He was.
Yeah.
So I think if you put anyone else in this above him, I think it's kind of unfair, especially for what he did. He was really him and like Ayton were really the only ones blocking out for the Suns
Right. Yeah.
off the starting lineup. So I think you gotta look at him
Really
for that,
important
and
role
he's
team.
still giving you what, like 15, 16 a
15,
game.
16, yeah.
So
something like that.
he's just a solid role player, really holding it down for them. So
See, this is where I would have had Miles Bridges, but I left him off my list.
I put him on power forward.
Oh, okay. At 8, I had Scotty Barnes. I just think he plays not as good defense as Mikal Bridges, but it's near his level, and he also does the offense better. He was kind of
Yeah.
like running the offense half the time because Fred isn't really much of a playmaker. Although he has the assist, he's not creating plays.
Yeah, they had really Siakam and
Him
Scotty
and
Barnes really
OG, yeah.
running the one. So
Yeah, so Scotty, I really have faith in what he does, and he did so much for that team to contribute. Everyone forgets they're like the 6th seed or the 5th seed. They were really high.
And they're
for-
still young.
Yeah, for how bad that's his first
Yeah.
season, and he's already cracked the top 10.
No, definitely.
Okay, so now 7.
7.
So for number 7, I had Andrew Wiggins. I think even though he was an all-star starter, you know, everybody has their say on like whether or not he deserved that. Definitely deserved an all-star
Oh,
starter.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
probably not. Just because of the other options they had there, but you can't overlook the defense that he gave that team and the scoring that he had when sometimes when Steph wasn't there, because obviously he only had Clay for about 30 games. Whenever Steph was either not putting on a Steph Curry performance or just wasn't playing, you had Andrew Wiggins there. I think that he was definitely, I don't know if I would classify him as a role player there because of the amount of scoring that he gave them. Superstar role player, let's say that.
Yeah, I think he should have been hired. At least for me personally, I had him higher. For my 7, I actually had Chris Middleton.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had him a bit lower. I had him a bit lower. I don't know, I think, again, I'm looking at it very recently, which has a recency bias, but for just the last season and everything, he was putting out great numbers, doing what he does, you know, helping Giannis just win games, put points up. But I just think the guys above him, I think, are very strong, up and coming, or really have already passed him, and have proven why, at least in the last season, proven why they were the better player.
At 7, I had Brandon Ingram. I love his scoring, and he's been trying to be playmaking, but his defense isn't really all that. His rebounding for his size isn't really all that.
Yeah,
And I just think everyone else above him brings more to the game. He's more of a one-faceted player. He's a great player that'll get you a bucket. We all know that. Brandon Ingram's a bucket getter. But the other people above him get buckets and do the little things better.
Okay, so I had Chris at 6.
Chris at 6.
Because I don't know, I feel like even though he definitely was second or third best player on that team, depending on where you put Drew Holiday on the Bucks,
he's second best.
I think that he averaged a solid 25 and 5. You know, those are great numbers for the second option on that team. But I think with the limited scoring that he provides sometimes, I would put the other people that I put above him every time.
Understandable. At my 6, I had Ingram too.
Okay.
So, I think it's a solid place for him, and he's definitely gonna. I see him easily being top 5 next year.
See, I had Ingram as 5.
At 6, I had Andrew Wiggins. This is where I put Andrew Wiggins.
Okay,
You had him lower, right?
I had him at 7.
And you
I
had
have my 5.
5. Yeah, so Andrew Wiggins, 6'5". He's an elite defender, all NBA defense. He should have got it. He should have got it the year before that, too. Everyone who watches knows Andrew Wiggins has been guarding those players for the Warriors because people think Clay can still do it, but Clay can't really hang anymore. Draymond's more on the bigs or the superstars, and he can't do that all the time because he's really the team defender. Andrew Wiggins is that defender. He's that scoring option. He hits threes. He hits twos. I feel like there's not really a hole in Andrew Wiggins' game right now. And with the Warriors, he fits perfectly, and it shines his ability to do many things.
Alright. So I mentioned that I had Brandon Ingram at 5. What about you guys?
I had Wiggins at 5.
You had
Who's
Andrew
your 5?
Wiggins.
At 5, I had Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton,
Oh,
alright.
shoot,
So
okay.
why do you think he deserves to be above
I feel like
Andrew?
Middleton and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins' defense is like here. Andrew's like right behind him.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody, video cut out there, but Brennan was in the middle talking about Chris Middleton's defense and why he has him at number 5.
So I think Chris Middleton's number 5 because the defense is amazing. It's right below Andrew Wiggins, but his offensive game, we've seen him as a catch and shoot threat.
Right.
We've seen him as like the second man to Giannis, but when Giannis isn't there, when Bobby Portis, when he was missing some games, you see Chris Middleton, he was scoring on every level of the game. He's a 3-level scorer. He was 50, 40, 90 years before. He gets to his elbow. He gets to his spot. He hits those fadeaways. He's guarding the best. Well, sometimes the best if they're too big for Drew. Like a LeBron type, he would guard sometimes. But even the second best player when a team has 2 great players, that's Chris's job. And he does pretty good at that job, I'd say, and that's why he got that massive contract. That's why he was an all-star before. And I just think everything besides defense, he does more efficiently than Andrew Wiggins, and that's why I had him at 5th.
Okay. So I know Scott
Top
had
4.
Wiggins at 5,
Yeah.
so we'll go to number 4. I had Jimmy Jimmy Buckets,
Jimmy
number 4.
Buckets. Who'd you have?
I had Jason Tatum at 4.
Really?
Interesting.
I had DeMar DeRozan at 4.
Okay.
So, you know,
You had
all different here, all different.
Okay, so I'll go first. I said Jimmy Butler because his defense is definitely better than the 3 people that I have above him, but I feel like his offensive game, he was the least efficient jump shooter in the league this year. It was like 0.84 points per jump. No, it was much less than that.
He was a terrible shooter.
He was a
Remember
terrible
he was
shooter.
averaging like 7% from threes for like
Yeah,
a month.
He hit less than 1 3 a game usually.
Yeah, he was barely taking them. He probably only took them if the shot clock was winding down or if he was forced
So
into it.
I put him below the other 3 guys that I have here. So he averaged 0.77 points per shot, which
Wow.
is the worst in the league.
Below Julius Randle.
Below Julius Randle and Russell Westbrook were the 2 above him. But I just, I can't put him above 4 when I see his, if I don't see that offense take another step. Like, he took another step in the bubble when he was great, and, he led the Miami to some deep playoff runs a few times. But this year, I just didn't see it from him.
But how do you feel about the playoffs though?
He was tough in the playoffs.
What does that mean?
He was great in the
40,
playoffs,
40,
but playoffs, what, 12 games?
Yeah.
Regular season, 8 games.
Fair, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. For me, that defense, I have him at the 3. For me, that defense is what puts him above DeMar for me, because I just
They're kind of polar opposites.
I
One is
can't-
offense,
yeah.
one is defense.
yeah like DeMar. I love DeMar. DeMar averaging 27. I have him at
One of the
number
worst
4.
defenders in the
Yeah,
league.
he just doesn't do much on defense. Offense, he was really holding it down when Levine was playing, not good, especially in the second half of the season. He was the one carrying, and he was the one really putting his best foot forward in the playoffs. So that's why I have him at that 4 spot. But
And I had Jason Tatum.
yeah,
so-
explain
That's
that,
pretty
bro.
low.
Explain that.
So for
Made
me,
the finals, man.
I was either like, is he 4, is he 3, or is it 2?
Yeah.
And I had Jaylen Brown at my 4 for shooting guards, and I'm like, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are kind of the same player to me personally.
I don't know.
So
about
I
that.
put
I
him
don't
at
know about
4
that.
because I think Jimmy's defense is better than Tatum's defense, and I think DeMar's offense is better than Tatum's offense. So
So
he's
DeMar's
he's-
offense better than Tatum's offense?
I think so because Tatum
I guess
takes
the only thing he has
the
is defense.
worst shots in the
Yeah,
league
that's true.
besides Russell Westbrook. Like, that's not even fake. That's a stat. He takes the most. He's in the 99 percentile for contested 3-pointers, for step back 3-pointers, for everything. He takes
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah,
shots,
yeah,
the worst
yeah.
shot selection. And
I
just
can see
because he
that.
makes some, people are like, "Oh, he's top 10. He's top 10." He's not. He's a glorified.
I don't think he's top
role
10.
player. I think he just gets a lot of shots. I think he's good at defense.
That's-
I think he's a good scorer, but he needs to learn how to like. Chris
He's young enough where
Middleton
he can do
takes
it,
good
too.
shots. Andrew Wiggins takes good shots.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram takes good shots. Jimmy Butler takes the shots he knows he can make. DeMar takes the shot he knows. Tatum doesn't know his limits yet. He's just shooting whatever he can because he is that guy on the team.
Yeah.
He has that ability to
He has
take all
the
those
green
shots.
light. Yeah, yeah.
But look where it got them. He had like 12 points in the finals. Like when defenses key in on you or let you take those stupid shots, you're not effective and you're not really helping your team. So that's why I had him at 4 because I feel like the other people help their team way more than he truly does.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with. It's hard to argue with. All right, so
3.
who was your 3s?
I had DeMar DeRozan.
I also
at
had
3.
DeMar at 3.
I have Butler at 3. I just thought that defense was more valuable. And in the playoffs, we saw the difference between the Bulls and the Miami
Yeah.
Heat and the performances, and so I just saw.
one more than
I mean,
one
you
game.
can't really use. You can only really use the playoffs against DeMar this year. He
Yeah.
was pretty bad. I
MVP
mean, as,
front
it's just
runner
as
for a
like
while.
every
Yeah,
year.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's just that defense, and especially late in the season, it's tough to argue against someone like Butler, who's going 100 on every
Yeah.
play.
For
So
me, what set DeMar apart from a Jason Tatum, or from most of the small forwards on this list, is his closing ability. Like, we always
Mr. Fourth
see
Quarter.
him winning. He hit 2 back-to-back game winners. He's
That was
always clutching in the
crazy.
fourth quarter.
Yeah.
There's only a few players in this league, like Giannis is probably the best player in this league, but you're giving the ball to Chris Middleton at the end of the
For a
game.
buzzer, yeah.
But DeMar DeRozan is getting the ball throughout the game, and there's only people like LeBron, Curry, maybe Jokic in the league, and DeMar that you want getting the ball throughout the game from
Kevin
the first
Durant.
quarter to the end. Kevin Durant, like people like that, and
Yeah,
that's where I see DeMar, like an MVP caliber player, closing out games, winning games for his team. They're
Also, hitting less than a 3 a game too.
yeah, shooting
True.
no threes. and
27,
averaging
no 3.
27.
27 points per game, no threes.
Didn't they
Which is
have
notable.
like their differential, their point differential is negative, but they were still a high seed.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
just because they stuck in those fourth quarters because of DeMar DeRozan.
and he
Yeah.
was like, he knew how to fit well with the team, like, and the team knew how to shape around him too, because
right away.
the Bulls never really shot that many threes anyway, because the only really 3-point shooters that he had before him were Kobe White and Zach LaVine, you know, before they got Lonzo and Vooch and all those guys. But then when they got DeMar, they shot the least threes by far. They shot the least threes by any team in the NBA, but they were the most efficient. They shot the most, like, they had the best 3-point percentage for the entire league.
He's also a good playmaker too. Like we saw it in San Antonio when he was kind of running the point. Now he kind of took a back seat because they do have playmakers like Lonzo Ball. And I just think the culture he brings too, like you saw him with Patrick Williams, you saw him with Ayo Dosunmu hanging out of the game, like seeing veterans hang out with those younger guys and helping them win, helping them bring that culture. I just think that factors into me to being a good player.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I see that.
And that's why I think me and Steph had him at 3.
So
For
I'll
number
start,
2,
yeah.
Where
So
I had
you
Jimmy
go.
Butler.
You have Butler
You had
number
Jimmy.
2.
That's weird.
I have
See,
Tatum at 2.
I also have Tatum. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're the same. So like
I understand Tatum.
Yeah.
Tatum, like
like-
when I just watch him, he's another guy like Luka, where you watch him and it's just spectacular everything that he does.
You can tell the impact, you know, for throughout most of the season.
And being that
In
young,
that 26 game win like streak or something like
That was crazy, yeah.
You know, he was the big, you know, big part of that, and he was the one. He was, you know, Jaylen Brown was the second option compared to him
I always
on
feel
that
like
run.
though,
You know,
when they talked about that 26 run, they were like, wow, that team really turned it around. Wow, Ime
Yeah.
Udoka. Wow, Marcus Smart. Wow, Al
Robert
Horford.
Williams.
Wow, Robert Williams. They're not like, Jason Tatum took that superstar. You know, they're talking about the team
Yeah.
as a whole.
But you're gonna have one guy leading that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that was Jason Tatum.
yeah.
I mean,
so that's
he
what makes it
definitely,
hard to.
because he definitely
fault
led
him.
that mid-season turnaround. You
Yeah.
know, in the regular season.
And I think if you look at the playoffs, man, he was great throughout the
25-6,
playoffs.
To that
It was
end.
just the finals is where he
Yeah.
really fell apart.
'cause,
Before that,
the
he was
Warriors-
that guy.
Warriors knew how to defend him, and
The Warriors
but-
also had
but
enough pieces to defend him with.
Yeah.
Even
When you
so,
have
he did
Clay,
great.
Draymond, Wiggins, like that's a lot of guys, you know, coming at you who can really clamp you
dudes
up,
coming.
you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. I
Right.
mean, yeah. In the 2022 finals, he averaged 21.5. I mean, did they have Dre or Andrew Wiggins on?
They had Andrew Wiggins on.
So they had Wiggins on him,
Wiggins,
which again speaks to Wiggins' greatness, holding him to like 8 points below his average,
Dang.
6
Yeah.
points below his
He
average.
shot 36%.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
So
he played terribly.
you can't really say that he choked because he still
Nah,
did
he
pretty
shot
well.
36%.
I don't think he
That's
choked. I wouldn't say that
terrible.
he choked though.
For the team superstar, you gotta step up more than that.
I guess so.
Average.
You could honestly
36%.
blame that on
How
age
did
if you really want.
Jalen Brown do?
Jaylen Brown was the one dropping 30 a game.
So what do you average? 20,
So Jason Tatum averaged 21.6 in the finals,
21.6 on 36%
Terrible
shooting.
shooting.
and he averaged 23.5 in the finals. Interesting.
And on 40, what's that, 43?
But that was probably on what, with Clay guarding him most of the time?
No, because Wiggins would switch on to Jalen.
So the point that Warriors
Because
defense and the
Tatum was
Celtics
so bad.
defense, Warriors Celtics defense were not that different.
Celtics defense
was not that different.
The only difference was really the
How the
like the
offenses
power they had
handled
in the
them.
paint
Yeah.
with the Celtics.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
you had Robert Williams and Al Horford versus Draymond and Wiggins in there.
That's why I had Jimmy over Tatum. I just feel like during the playoffs, Jimmy is that man. Even during the regular
Yeah.
season, he's great. But during the playoffs, he's that guy. Like, it's
Yeah.
Jimmy G buckets.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He plays elite defense all the time. He scores, he makes. Like, you'll see him have, like, a 10-point game, and you're like, oh, Jimmy. But then he has, like, 13 assists, 7 rebounds,
Yeah.
2 steals, maybe a block. Like, I just think that Jimmy fills the need of the team where Jason doesn't. Jason's just like, oh, if I'm not scoring, I'm sitting in this corner. Pass me the ball.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, he'll set a screen for somebody. He'll run around. He'll guard your best player. Like,
I think Jason Tatum will get that too.
I think he will
he'll get
too,
there.
but I'm saying
How
like
old is
this
he? What,
year.
like 23, 24?
Yeah, somewhere
But-
around. So then I guess number one, we're all unanimous.
Consensus, LeBron.
Yeah.
He's still
It's
top
tough
three.
tough to put it. Get him out of there.
Late year 20.
Year 20.
No,
He's the
no,
best
he-
playmaker on this list
The
by
best
far.
player on the list.
Best player on the best scorer on this
Playmaker,
list.
yep, yeah.
He wasn't he in the running? He was like 0.3 away from the scoring title.
Yeah, he was
had
really
30
close.
points a
He
game.
got it.
Embiid passed him the last like
with free throws.
4
like,
games.
So yeah, and doing that at 20 years old, and that was the most points per game he scored in like a while.
Yeah.
Because Joel got 30.6.
Because it was him. Like Anthony Davis is hurt. Russell Westbrook is playing like garbage.
Yeah.
18
You know,
per game.
he's LeBron to go out there and average
LeBron
30 a game.
averaged 0.3 less than the scoring leader, and doing that at 40, like come on.
37, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep saying. 40.
Even his defense, like when he tries on defense,
Yeah.
we rarely see it anymore because he doesn't play meaningful basketball. But when he
Yeah.
tries, I'd say he's on a Jason Tatum level, not like a Wiggins, Jimmy Butler.
no,
But-
when he was younger, man.
He's still
But-
playing good defense. He's getting those chase down blocks.
Yeah. And again, you're averaging 38 and 6.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to make a case against
that
LeBron.
for any like
Except for
Tatum,
Skip Bayless.
Butler, DeMar. Like Butler's the only one who I can really see kind of stepping
pushed
over
out of
him.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't think just size impact. you
Yeah,
know.
like 2, 3, 4, 5. You could be like, oh, this guy could be this guy. But
Yeah.
one is
Yeah.
solidified.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, no,
LeBron.
definitely.
It's always been LeBron.
It's gonna be LeBron for
difficult.
1 or 2 more years at least.
Yeah, till Bronny gets here.
All right. I guess with that concludes this episode of the Rebound. Thank you for
Small
watching.
forward.